over the years, there's been an increasing number of deaths, amputations and injuries at initiation schools. The CRL Rights Commission has found instances where the rights of boys have also been violated. They've been abducted and subjected to violence in certain instances. Well, the Commission kicks off its National Customary Initiation Indaba tomorrow. It's a three-day meeting that aims to address the high rate of deaths and other challenges and injuries at initiation schools. To discuss this, I'm joined virtually from here in Johannesburg by Sylvia Pheto, who is the Deputy Chairperson of the CRL Rights Commission. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Sylvia. According to the figures that you've provided, 700 initiates have died since 2006. And in as much as I've seen encouraging news over the years, like people opting for safe processes in hospitals and that kind of thing, we are still seeing too many of these initiation schools that do not tick all the boxes in terms of health and safety. Why was it important to have this Indaba now, the inaugural one as it is?
Look, we in South Africa and many other parts of of Africa, customary initiation has been traditionally used as a traditional rite of passage, right? And this has been used to mark the stage of manhood, of boyhood to manhood. And this practice has been for both males and females. Unfortunately, in South Africa, this oldest customary practice has stood the test of time. And even though over the last few years, it has faced a lot of challenges, including the loss of lives, it suffered through modernization and ultimately called for regulation. Now, South Africa has stood up because due to this state of affairs, Customary Initiation Act of number 2 of 2021 was promulgated to deal with this initiation schools lawlessness. The act requires that the practice of customary initiation complies with every applicable law. We know laws like the Children's Act, the Prevention and Combating of Traffic in Persons, number 7 of 2013, National Health Act laws are the laws that have been violated by some of the initiation schools. Now, it has been important for South Africa to have this act in place to curb the deaths, mostly to make sure that people go alive to initiation schools and return alive.
Now, talk to me about who's been invited to this. I understand, obviously, these initiation caregivers at these initiation schools have been invited, COI leaders, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, COCTA, of course, the principals of these initiation schools, and the MPA is invited. But I see you've also invited the parents who have lost children at these initiation schools. Why was that important for you?
Look, it is important to invite the parents because, like you rightfully said, we tried to get all the stakeholders and all the participants in one room to try and discuss and see where the challenges are. The parents are here because they have gone through difficult times where they had to lose their children. This is a customary practice. They don't want to stop to take their children there, but they need some sort of assurance and assistance that when they take their children to initiation schools, their children will come back alive. Unfortunately, most of the parents who are invited are the parents who have lost their children at initiation schools. So tomorrow they will be sharing their stories, how they felt and how they think the society and government can assist them, especially for those who live with injuries. I know it has been difficult for those who lost their kids, but it is even worse for parents who have to take care of their children who suffered injuries from initiation school. So it is important for these parents to come so that we hear their stories, how they feel and how they would want to be assisted.
We're now just looking at pictures of a vast number of young men. Obviously, it looks like a process at the start of this initiation process, but I stand to be corrected. But what I want to ask you is about the role of women in this. Obviously, this is something that is very important in the life of a young man in certain communities. But when it comes to the decisions made by a family as to whether or not a young man in the family should go to this school, to that school, or should he go to a hospital, and all of the cultural ramifications that holds, what do you believe is the role of the woman, the role of the mother, the role of the grandmother, the role of the partner or wife of this young man, where this decision has to be made about whether or not he goes? Because, as we well know, these families send these young men off, and sometimes they come back in a black body bag.
Look, everybody has a responsibility. For people who believe in their culture, who are proud of their traditions and customs, initiation schools means a lot to them. And some of the people believe that initiation schools, they are those schools that would open for their own spiritual growth. Now, it is important for all people, not only mothers, for fathers as well. Well, it is important for mothers because, remember, these are people who born these children. Now, to carry a child for 9 months, only to lose him when he's about to enter his adulthood, it should be very painful for a mother. But the responsibility that we have as mothers to prepare our boy children for this practice is to make sure that on a daily basis, mothers engage their sons. More especially now that South Africa, we see many of the single mothers who are growing these boys. They should have discussions with these boys to prepare them mentally, physically, and emotionally. You know, it is the mother who would tell when her son is matured enough to go to this practice. Because as much as it is a customary practice, it also involves the learning of values within the communities. They learn most of the skills and values that they need to use in their families, in their clans, and within the community at large. So it is important for these kids to be prepared. The mothers should make sure that when the kids are sent to initiation schools, they are healthy, they are fit. They should make sure that they give the consent for their kids to go to initiation schools. Kids should not be abducted when they come from school. They should not be kidnapped. It is the responsibility of the whole society to make sure that we assist these young men to grow up, enjoy this practice, because when they come back, they are expected to take their rightful spaces in the communities. So if we don't safeguard their being protected within the society, we will lose all that.
Okay,
then
we're going to unfortunately have to leave it there. We have run out of time. Sylvia Pheto is the Deputy Chairperson of the CRL Rights Commission, and they're preparing to kick off the inaugural National Customary Initiation Indaba to take place in Boksburg at the Birchwood Hotel and Conference Centre from tomorrow until Wednesday.